Iran and Pakistan have launched missile strikes aimed at terrorist camps in the other country after Iran's strikes on Wednesday evening, which came hours after a high-level meeting between Iran's foreign minister and Pakistan's interim PM. Pakistan has reportedly launched retaliatory strikes as well against Baluch separatists based in Iran. The Pakistani airstrikes targeted the BLA, BLF in or around Sarwan, Iran, as these groups were responsible for the martyrdom of innocent Pakistani civilians and attacks on security forces. Well, MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal has meanwhile said that this is an issue that concerns only those two nations. The Foreign Ministry, however, has added that New Delhi has zero tolerance for terrorism and understands actions that countries take in their self-defense. This is a matter between Iran and Pakistan. Insofar as India is concerned, we have an uncompromising zero tolerance towards terrorism. We understand actions that countries take in their self-defense, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said in response to media queries. Joining us live is Major Mohammad Ali Shah, defense expert. Also with us is Major General G.G. Dwivedi, defense analyst. Colonel G.S. Sodhi, defense expert, also is joining the broadcast. So Major Shah, let me begin with you first. The situation, of course, spiraling now. Pakistan reportedly launching counter strikes, launching these retaliatory strikes. How do you view this fresh development and fresh offensive?
Okay, Uday, that's a very good question. Uday, I will give this with an analogy where there are two friends who were very good friends at one time, but now their friendship hasn't lasted and now they've become bitter enemies. 14th August 1947, Pakistan gained its independence. Iran was the first country to recognize Pakistan. And in the 1965 war against India, that time Iran had supported Pakistan. In 1971, liberation of Bangladesh, that time Iran had supported Pakistan. Pakistan recognized the Republic of Iran, where one of the dynasties had fallen. So they had been why I'm telling you this is, they have been very, very good friends. Now the very fact is, Iran is primarily a Shia country. The two terrorist organizations with the terrorist camps, I would say, which Iran had targeted just 2 days back, they did an airstrike, that's a Shia, that's a Sunni group. Now that group had become a nuisance for Iran as it is. They had attacked the border guard, they had attacked the police station, and just about not even 100 kilometers, I would say, on towards the Iran-Pakistan border. A few months back, last year, there was again firing between Pakistan and Iran over water. The Supremo of Iran, he had given a statement that river, the water over there, they have all the rights. They have the rights. Now, the very fact is, Pakistan is not the first time that people have entered into Pakistan and they have bombarded. US did that in Abota when Osama bin Laden was killed. We have done that as a surgical strike in 2016, as an airstrike, Balakot airstrike. Be it an accidental fire of a missile. Now, Iran does that. So, Pakistan has got no face to show. In fact, in Switzerland, just about a day back, the Pakistani the caretaker prime minister and the Iran's foreign minister were together. And interestingly to note, just a few hours before the attack, Pakistani Air Force had taken out a video, which I've seen, where they projected propaganda about their strength, that they are capable of this, they're capable of that. If that is the capability, why couldn't they preempt these airstrikes? The very fact, and Iran did an airstrike with them on missiles, rockets, and UAVs. So the very fact that they penetrated inside Pakistan, and Iran hit them hard. Now these two friends who I was talking about, jinki pakki dosti thi bilkul, today they are bitter enemies. Now the very fact is they had taken on the insurgents in Balochistan, that they would work together. And even during the Cold War, right from 1945 to 1991, these two had favored the Western Bloc against the Eastern Bloc. Western Bloc is who? America, against USSR, before the disintegration of USSR took place. Now the very fact is, now Pakistan, when they had no face to show, badnami to hogi na unki at the end of the day. So they had to do a retaliation on them. Iran also certainly conveyed a message that, okay, they might be a nuclear power, so they claim, self-proclaimed nuclear power. We may not. There was a time when Iran's military was the fifth largest and the fifth powerful military, actually. There was a time like that. Iran has seen those times. And Iran was a superpower of the Gulf. They have seen that of the Middle East. They have seen those days. So now the very fact is Pakistan asked for it, actually. If you ask me fairly, I would say Pakistan had actually asked for it. Now, the very fact is when Pakistan had to, they kept quiet. There was no statement from them. They were totally radio silence. They had not accepted it. They had not given a remark. It is only last evening, I was on one of the television channels, and that's the time I heard, oh, now they're accepting it. That such a thing had occurred with them. So the very fact is, Pakistan is incorrigible. And now when they retaliate, that's just, I don't know what see, they're in a bad state. FATF was hard on them. They were in the grey list of, they were really, they're in a really, really utter, I would say, ridiculous state actually. So Pakistan is in no way to retaliate. Now, even if they do what they're doing right now, it is, I think, it is just to a saving grace. मगर कोई इज्जत तो रह गई. I would like to conclude by saying, supposing someone enter the house and then trashes the daylight out of us, what faith will we have in the society? We will not have. Similarly, Pakistan, utter shame on them, I would say that. And now that is the only saving grace they had to actually kind of and I would equate that with the US attack on the Red Sea on the Houthi rebels. Houthis did try to retaliate back, but harmless in the sense that the US ship which was attacked by Houthi rebels continued on their voyage without a single injury, without any damage to it. So, की फर्क पैंदा है, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता भाई. Go ahead, do what you want. So Pakistan is, lost face completely with that.
Okay, let me quickly get in General Dwivedi as well at this point. General Dwivedi, of course, counter-strikes being launched by Pakistan. Yesterday, they had, of course, issued a strong condemnation of this incident. They had also, of course, summoned the Iranian envoy, in fact, asking him to leave. They had recalled their envoy too in Iran. Now launching counter-strikes, of course. How do you believe Iran will respond? And where is the situation headed, General Dwivedi?
Well, Uday, first and foremost, Iran and Pakistan are neighboring countries. They share a border of about 960 kilometers. And skirmishes on the border are nothing very new. They have been happening since quite some time. But this time, it has a different ramification because this is the first time that Iran struck inside Pakistan. And Pakistan actually was in a dilemma whether to retaliate or just absorb this strike. Now, we need to see it in two different perspectives. One in the regional perspective, and secondly, what are the international ramifications? And incidentally, I teach this subject in the universities, particularly the Middle East and our neighborhood. Now, when you look at these strikes, you first and foremost, it's very important to understand the timing. Pakistan today is in a dire state. Politically, it's very unstable. There's a caretaker government. Economically, its back is to the wall. It is under heavy debt. And it is also fighting the Taliban, TTP. And of course, it has been always aggressive stance toward India, waging a proxy war. So it's now on the three fronts that Pakistan is engaged. Now, when this strike took place, what was Pakistan's dilemma? If they strike back, then it means escalation. If they absorb it, means that they are showing the weakness and the impingement on their sovereignty. So Pakistan has taken a very, very cautious symbolic action of engaging in a counter-strike, which is, I would say, more symbolic than of any substance. Now, what is Iran's game plan? You see, after especially the Hamas, aggression against Israel, Iran has emboldened, and they are trying to, get as much space as possible in the Middle East, and especially to counter Saudi Arabia. There were strikes in Syria some time back. There were also strikes in Iraq, and Iran is supporting the number of terrorist organizations. Well, Houthis, they are absolutely, encouraged by Iran to undertake whatever their nasty action they're doing in Red Sea. Then Hezbollah is again supported by Iran. And of course, Hamas. The whole operation has been rather at the encouragement of Iran. So therefore, when you look at the whole picture per se, between Iran and Pakistan in bilateral terms, it takes a new turn, but I am very certain that they are going to, Pakistan is going to underplay it and not escalate the situation because it is not in a position to do so. As far as Iran is concerned, they are going to increase their pressure on Pakistan, especially keep encouraging the Baluchi separatists because that's where the Iranian interests lie. But they have certain amount of trade relations. I think this will remain bilateral. It won't have much of ramification beyond the region. But two important points as far as Iran is concerned. Iran is actually overreaching today, and there is going to be definitely pushback from America and the other Western allies, especially when their sea lines of communication are being disturbed or being interrupted. And you see what is the long route that they have to take around the Cape of Good Hope. That is one important point. And secondly, Iran, China, Russia, Turkey axis, and where Pakistan plays the double game, this has to be also seen in perspective. I think as far as India is concerned, we have made a very categorical statement that this is a bilateral issue. India has zero tolerance for terrorism, and we have supported Iranian action as more of self-defense or in the interest of the security. Uday.
All right, we're getting, in fact, some breaking news now coming in on the broadcast. Let's quickly address that. Fresh details of Pakistan's attack in Iran are emerging. The Foreign Ministry has issued a statement on the strikes. This morning, Pakistan undertook a series of highly coordinated and specifically targeted precision military strikes against terrorist hideouts in Sistan or Baluchistan province of Iran. A number of terrorists were killed during the intelligence-based operation codenamed Marg Bar Sarmachar, is what Pakistan Foreign Ministry reportedly has come out and said. Colonel J.S. Sodhi, a defense expert with us live. Colonel Sodhi, Pakistan's Foreign Ministry issuing a statement giving more details about where the strike took place and what casualties have been reported as well.
Jai Hind Uday. It's my honor to be on a news channel and a privilege to be with the esteemed co-panelist. In 2019, Jaish-e-Adil, the Pakistan-based terrorist group, launched an attack on IRGC inside Iran in which 27 IRGC soldiers were killed. At that time, the Iranian Major General Muhammad Ali Jafar in a statement said that Pakistan should rein in these terrorists, else Iran will take strong action in the times ahead. Well, Pakistan did nothing and it continued aiding and abetting these terrorists who were waging a war on Iran. Last year in December 2023, Iran banned this group. However, still the attacks on Iran continued. Hence, Iran had no option but to launch an attack on Pakistan 2 days back, which Pakistan retaliated by an operation by the name of Operation Marg Bar Samachar. The point, Uday, is that Iran for the first time attacked deep inside Pakistan, and conversely, Pakistan also for the first time attacked deep inside Iran. This shows the hostilities between both the countries have reached to unimaginable levels. At a time, just some time back, they were good friends, and now probably they are on the verge of being worst of enemies. Uday, yesterday, the United Kingdom Defense Secretary, Grant Shapps, has said in a statement that in next 5 years, the world will see more wars because of 4 nations: Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. Iran, by launching an attack on Pakistan 2 days back, has shown to the world, especially the Americans and its enemies in the Middle East, that if it comes to the point where it has to take action, it will. Because Iran today enjoys full support of Russia and China, and this attack is not only an attack on only Pakistan, it is a clear warning to the world that the era of wars is about to start, which rightly the United Kingdom Defense Secretary has said in a statement yesterday.
Yes, now, of course, we do know that India also has reacted. India has come out Major Shah, and said we always have adopted a zero tolerance approach towards terrorism. We appreciate countries' self-defense. That's what we had said in response to the Iran strikes. However, we did add that it is a matter between just the two countries concerned. Major Shah, how should India be viewing these developments taking place very close to our periphery?
Right, Uday. India has already issued what their stand is it's always been very, very clear, crisp, precise, to the point, and very mature. Always, be it Russia, Ukraine, be it the Israel Hamas conflict, be it here. So it's between the two countries, no doubt. And see, if we have always taken an anti-terrorism stance, always. So basically, one thing I have to tell you. China is our bitter enemy, fine. But they do not, thankfully, they do not indulge in tactics like Pakistan does. Cheap terrorism. They do not do that, at least. So the very fact is, India has always taken a stand against terrorism. And if ever there is a terrorist attack on anyone, everyone has a right to defend themselves. That's what happened even on 7th October when Hamas attacked Israel. Our Prime Minister gave out 2 tweets where he did not say clearly. I mean, people misinterpreted or interpreted however that we have taken a pro-Israeli stand or whatever. The very fact is we supported 2-state solutions over there at that time as well. So here, even in this scenario, the fact is the whole world knows who harbors terrorists, who harbors suicide bombers, who manufactures them, which is the IT hub. IT hub is not international, not information technology, but international terrorism. The IT hub over here is Pakistan, 100%. So all the suicide bombers, all the terrorists, in fact, Colonel Sodhi is here. He was in Manipur last month. General Dwivedi was in Manipur. In Manipur also we have found counter-insurgency. There we found insurgents. I will not call them terrorists, but in J&K as well, there we would call them terrorists. So the very fact is, India's stance has always been anti-terrorism, anti-terrorist. The very fact is that. So that the way we are viewing it is right now is anti-terrorism, and I think that's the correct stance we have taken to that.
Yes, let me go back to Major General Dwivedi. Major General Dwivedi, now with this Foreign Office statement of Pakistan, more details have of course been revealed. What do you believe will be the next course of action by Iran? Where is this conflict headed, and should India be concerned?
These two countries, Iran and Pakistan, though they may have difference, but they have one commonality. Both these countries use terrorism as a tool to further their national interest. So here, it is a war by proxy by the terrorists, and both sides are using it to their advantage. So therefore, I think this will continue and could escalate, but it will not turn into a conventional sort of a war. Second point is, Pak is gradually getting involved in the Middle East upheaval, and with the direct confrontation with Iran, willy-nilly, I think Pakistan will be now involved in the third front and somehow get involved in the Middle East. Now, 2-3 important issues. We mentioned about China. You know, China doesn't do things directly, but it has always used proxies like Pakistan, and Pakistan is a vassal state, and it acts on the behest of China. Therefore, Chinese will increase the pressures, especially to ensure that the situation in LAC, where both the armies are into the 4th winter, our attention is distracted more onto the J&K and the proxy war being orchestrated by Pakistan. So Chinese will continue to play a role. And Chinese are on to gray zone warfare. There are enough reports have come out last year. Chinese did at least 2-3 attempts to gain certain amount of advantage on the LAC. So therefore, we can't discount Chinese hand, and Chinese hand will be always indirect and by proxy. Another important issue that we need to understand, that when we are supporting Iran, and we have supported Iran in this context, there will be counter-reaction from the Chinese side again. And my last point is, India need to watch very carefully, especially on the proxy war. And I think this is the time that India needs to be more proactive to fight terrorism and proxy wars against Pakistan, because today Pakistan is cornered, and this is a good time to ensure that we are more proactive to fight out terrorism and proxy war against Pakistan, and need to watch this situation very, very carefully and very closely because our interests are involved in this region. Uday.
Yes, they certainly are, of course. But Colonel Sodhi, as far as the location of this strike is concerned, just take us through which terror camps have reportedly been operating, which Pakistan is attempting to target now in Iran. What prompted this? Is it simply a tit for tat, or is there more to it?
Well, Uday, prima facie, this retaliation by Pakistan is tit for tat because Pakistan was under immense international pressure and its own domestic population pressure because every other country was attacking Pakistan for the terrorists that it has been aiding and abetting, be it USA when they killed the famous, terrorist there, Osama bin Laden, or India launching the Balakot airstrikes and now Iran doing it. So, within Pakistan also, there was a lot of shame within each citizen that each time our country gets attacked. And this time, the Pakistani Air Force or the Pakistani military had no option but to launch an attack just for the heck of it. Though they also knew this, attack will not have any much consequences. It will not escalate because as far as Iran is concerned, Iran's most, hated enemy is Israel. Pakistan is on the fringes. It is only few terrorist groups which are operating in Pakistan, which are causing some trouble to Iran. But for Iran, the biggest enemy is Israel. At this time, Iran doesn't want to get entangled with Pakistan. And that is the reason for last few years it had been telling Pakistan many times to end these terrorist camps which are operating from the Pakistani soil. However, Pakistan, as usual, always aids and supports terrorists because of the, whatever reason for whatever money get or the ill fame they get. Because as they say, even being infamous is a kind of being famous. So probably that is there in the Pakistani side. But the point here is that, like General Dwivedi rightly brought out, the game is much bigger. And the game is not merely Iran-Pakistan tensions. The game will unfurl in the next few years because that is the time when these four major countries, that is Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran, have made a big plan. In fact, the German intelligence documents which were leaked 2 days back have said of a grand plan in which Russia is playing a pivotal role and these other three countries are going to abet Russia in its grand aim. So as of now, though it seems that the attacks are 1-to-1, but as the time unfolds, this tensions will become much bigger. And like the United Kingdom Defense Secretary said yesterday, another 5 years we'll see multiple war fronts opening up in the entire world.
Yes. Also, Colonel Sodhi, I'd like you to quickly, give your view on India's viewpoint on this entire scenario that is developing not very far from us. Officially and unofficially, what is India's stand?
Well, Uday, officially India has taken the right stand by saying that it is a matter between two countries and every country has a right for self-defense. So I think it is a very matured and a very good statement. But at the same time, it is warning bells for us because as tensions are engulfing India from all the sides, like General Dwivedi rightly said, we have to be more proactive. We have to take more such steps. And one of the steps is, firstly, we have to free ourselves from the Chinese economic web that we are deeply entangled in. Secondly is we have to increase our defense budget multi-folds. It is a challenge, but there's no option because security is paramount. And we have to give our military the latest technology in the shortest time frame. Uday, just few days back, there was this report that India's, flagship drone project Tapas has been shelved. Well, that is a big blow to our national security. So the point is for India, the ramifications are slowly increasing because we are being now surrounded from all the sides by either China directly or through the Chinese, dubious means, be it Maldives, Pakistan is a known enemy, be it Bhutan now, tilting towards China. So we have to now have, firstly, our national security strategy in place and in the public domain, because that is very important so that all organs of the government work together for the national security strategy. And secondly, our refurbishing of the military at a very great speed is of immense importance. One last point I'll make, because, I would like to remind your viewers that on 8th July 2013 in Bin Vipu, which is a Chinese government newspaper published from Hong Kong, was an article, 6 wars that China will fight in the next 50 years. And the third in these series of 6 wars is that in 2035, Pakistan attacks India for Jammu and Kashmir, and China attacks India for Arunachal Pradesh. And if we go by the working backwards by the timelines, 2035 is seeming to be a great possibility that is likely to happen.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.